Hello, my dear students. Welcome to Sankalp Learning Classes. I'm Vinuta Bhatt. Today we are going to study about the control and coordination. So already we have started this chapter, right? So already some important topics from this chapter we have studied in the last class. Today we are going to study about the remaining important topics of this chapter. Okay. Yes. What are all the points that we have studied in the last class? So do you remember? Just to recall these all points. What are all the points that we have studied? Yes. So the first topic, that is about the neuron and the structure and the function of the neuron, that we studied, and about the reflex arc. Reflex arc, that is the very important topic. Then brain and the parts of the brain and the function of different parts of the brain, that we studied in the last class. Okay, so today we are going to start with the important topic, that is about the how does the nervous tissue cause the action. So we know that the nervous tissue which carry the information, and the muscles. So when the information from the brain or the spinal cord, when it reach the muscles, so there is the movement of the muscle takes place. But how the muscle cells move? So when the muscle cells move, then only we are able to do the action, right? So but how these muscle cell move? So here some cellular components of muscle cells have special proteins that change both their shape and their arrangement in the cell in response to the nervous electrical impulses. How we are able to change the, how we are going to when the muscles, they receive the chemical impulses from the neurons, the muscle cells, they are going to respond to this. So when this happens, new arrangement of these proteins give the muscle cell shorter form. So the muscle cells have the special type of the proteins. So both their shape and their arrangement in the cell in response to the nervous and the electrical impulses. So when it receives the when it receives the some neurons message from the neurons, electrical impulse from the neurons, it changes the shape of its cell, and it causes the movement of the muscle. So that is because of the some proteins that is present in the muscle cell. Next important topic, that is coordination in plants. So we have nervous system and neurons and central nervous system, brain, spinal cord, etc. Right? But what about the coordination in plants? Do they have any control and coordination organ system? No, there is no specialized system for this. But here, when we touch the leaves, the sensitive or the touch me not plant of mimosa family, they begin to fold up and droop. So here, just imagine plants also show the control and coordination, right? But how it occurs? Yes, plants also show that when we touch the plants, ಮೈಮೋಸಾ ಪುಡಿಕ ಅಲ್ವಾ, ಮುಟ್ಟಿದರೆ ಮುನಿ. ಸೊ ಈ ಗಿಡ ಮುಟ್ಟಿದಾಗ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, we can observe the folding of the leaves. So what is the reason behind this? Because so this is the type of the movement that we can observe in the plant, right? So this is the one type of the movement that we can observe in the plant, and also we can observe some other movements. So when the seed germinate or the root grows down, the stem growth into the air. So these all also involve the movement, but that we cannot observe, right? Directly we cannot observe, but if you take the time period, certain time period, we can observe this, what you call, the change in the, we can observe the movement. But so these all movements, they included the growth in it, so they have the growth. So that is the growth included, so we can call it as a, so which involves the growth in their movement. But the movement of the leaves that we observed in the mimosa pudica, so growth is not involved in it, growth is not involved in it. But in case of the seed germination, root growth, so here growth involved movement, which involves the, okay. Then here there is no growth involved in the movement. So here, on the other hand, the directional movement of seedling is caused by growth. So plants show two different types of movement, one dependent on the growth and other independent of the growth. So plants, they show the two types of the movement. So the one movement that is called as the dependent on the growth, for example, growth of the seedling stems, and other one is the independent of the growth, dependent on growth and the independent on the growth. So these two types of movements that we can observe, right? Here, immediate response to the stimulus. So here, uh, we have seen the first kind of the movement. So that is when we touch the touch me not plant. So the leaves of the touch me not plant that bend. So the growth is not involved in this movement. Since no growth is involved, the plant must actually move its leaves in response to the touch. So that is the response to the stimulus. So ಇಲ್ಲಿ plant ತೋರಿಸ್ತಾ ಇರುವಂತ movement, that is the response to the stimulus. Here no growth is involved in this, okay? But there is no nervous tissue, no, nor any muscle tissue. Here in plant's body there is no nervous tissue or the muscle tissue, but it causes the movement. But how? Which is not, the growth is not involved in this movement, but it shows the movement to the stimulus. How it is possible? So when you touch the leaves of this touch me not, it will become like this. So there is no nervous system, muscle cells, etc., but you can observe this type of the movement. What's the reason behind this? So it is that apparent movement happens, point of difference, the point of touch. So when you touch the plant, so the information that has been communicated, so how this information is communicated to the, so just imagine this is the stem, so these are the leaves, okay? When you touch this point, so these leaves, they bent, right? So the information, the touch information, that is transferred to the leaves. But how it occurs? There is no neurons, there is no muscle cells, but how it occurs? So here the plants also use electrical chemical means to convey this information from cell to cell. Plant cells change shape by changing the amount of water in them. So when the chemical impulses that move to the cells of the leaves, the plant that change the water amount present in it, the water content that is changed and resulting in swelling or shrinking, and therefore the changing the shapes. So the plant cells change the shape by changing the amount of water in them, resulting in the swelling or the shrinking, and therefore in the changing the shapes here. So The plants also use electrical chemical means to convey this information from cell to cell. So when this information is conveyed to the leaf cells, so the water content that present in move out and the leaves, they become uh, shrink, right? So the leaves that will become bent like this. So that is how the reaction that takes place without the presence of the nervous system and the muscle cells. Okay, here nodi, when you touch this point, so these leaves become bend like this ಅಲ್ವಾ, ಈ ರೀತಿಯಾಗಿ ಮುದಿಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳುತ್ತೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ. ಸೊ some chemical impulses, so that is transferred to the cell, so it causes the movement of water that is out from the cell. The water moves out from the cell, so the leaves become like this. Okay, so this is how the response to the stimulus that takes place in mimosa pudica, so which is independent of the growth. Growth is not involved in this, independent of growth. Our touch acts as the stimulus for plant and it closes its leaves return. Some chemicals are released from the stem when we touch the plant. So these chemicals force water to move out and cell, leading to the loss of turgor pressure. As a result, leaves droop. So this is how the leaves, they become droop when they become droop and when we touch the plant. So this is how the response to the stimulus that takes place in the plants. Next point, that is about the movement due to the growth. So in this, the movement that involves the growth, due to the growth, this movement will takes place. Okay, so some plants like pea plant climb up the plants or the some fences by means of tendrils. I hope you know about some plants climbers. They use the tendrils to climb. So like this. So this is called as the stem tendrils. So these tendrils are sensitive to touch. When they are come in contact with any support, the part of the tendril in contact with the object does not grow as rapidly as the part of the tendril away from the object. So these tendrils are sensitive to touch. When they come in contact with the support, so these tendrils come in contact with the support, so the object does not grows as rapidly as the part of the tendril away from the object. So because these are touch sensitive, okay, this causes the tendril to encircle the around the object and thus cling to it. So which is called as thigmotropism. For the touch, it is responding. So touch is the what you call stimulus, for that it is responding. Touch is the stimulus and for that it is responding, that is called as the thigmotropism. More commonly, plants respond to the stimuli slowly by growing in a particular way, but slowly it is responding. So because this growth is directional, it appears as the if plant is moving. So this is the directional which involves the growth. Okay, this is the type of the response by the plant. By the growth, it is showing the movement. Okay, here you can see the, and here one more type of the movement in plants, that is how the plants are responding to the light and the gravity. So here there is an experimental setup. So when you put some seeds in a conical flask, so you put some water and keep it in a dark room. So this plant should receive the light only from this window, and you have to cover this plant from one side by using the sheets like this. Okay, so the plant receives the light from only one direction. Okay, so that is from this window. The remaining part, that is dark in that room. So when you observe this setup after some time, after 1 week, so the seeds that grow into seedlings and they grow fastly. Here the stem, when you observe it after some time, the stem that is bending towards the light, so it is growing towards the light to receive the sunlight. So here this plant that is responding to the stimulus, that is the light, right? So here the light is the stimulus for that. The plant is growing towards the light, right? So here it is called as positively phototrophic, means the plant aerial part is that is growing towards the light. And if you change this experimental setup, just you close this side like this, okay, and you have to open this side, so the light is coming from this window. Okay, so when you keep this setup for some time, so the plant stem that bends towards the light, where the light is available, it is moving towards the light like this. Okay, in this direction where it receives the light, it is moving in that way. Okay, so this is called as positively phototrophic. Okay, so but when you observe the roots, only aerial parts that is growing towards the light. But what about the roots? The roots are growing towards the gravity, towards the soil. So here that is growing towards the soil and opposite to the light. So it is called as negatively phototrophic. Negatively phototrophic. Negatively phototrophic, and positively, so this is positively phototrophic, and root, just don't get confused, this is growing towards the light, that is positively phototrophic, and this is negatively phototrophic. But the roots that are growing towards the gravity, so that is called as positively geotropic, and the stem that is growing away from the gravity, that is called as the negatively geotropic. Okay, so this is how the plants respond to the gravity and light, so which act as a stimulus to the plants. Environmental triggers such as light or gravity will change the direction of the plant parts grow in. These directional or trophic movements can towards the stimulus or away from the stimulus. Some stimulus sometime that is towards the stimulus, but sometime it is away from the stimulus. Here plants show tropism in response to other stimuli as well. The roots of the plants always grow downwards while the shoots usually grow upwards. So, and away from the earth. This upward and downward growth of the shoots and roots respectively. So, that is because of the gravity. So, obviously, that is the geotrophism, and the shoot that is growing towards the light, that is called as the phototrophism. Okay. And also trophism means towards, right? But here plants also show the chemotrophism and the hydrotrophism. So here example for the chemotrophism, that is growth of the pollen tubes towards the ovule. So the growth of the pollen tubes towards the ovule. So this is the stigma and style, and this is the ovary, and the ovules are present inside. So here pollen grains which germinate and produce the pollen tube. So this pollen tube that is growing towards the ovule, because here the ovules that secrete some chemicals towards the chemical it is moving, so that is called as the chemotropism. And what about the hydrotrophism? Hydrotrophism means that is towards light. Towards the light it is moving, so that is called as the hydrotrophism. So that is about the movement, how the plants are able to react to the stimulus that occurs, response to the stimulus that occurs in our environment. Okay. So in plants body, not only these responses, growth involved, um, movements, or some growth not, the growth is not involved in some movements. So these all things that takes place in the plant body. And also uh, in some plants and animals we can observe the chemical communication. So what is this chemical communication, which is secreted or generated in the some parts of the cell or some parts of the organism, and it is moving to the different parts, so that is creating some effects. Okay, so that is called as the chemical communication, that is also present in the plant as well as the animals. So here, so this chemical communication method, so the chemicals that is released, that is nothing but the hormones. So that is used by multicellular organisms for control and coordination. So mainly the multicellular organisms, plants and animals, they are using these hormones for the control and coordination. So different plant hormones help to coordinate growth, development and responses to the environment. They are synthesized at the place and away from where they act, and simply diffuse to the area of the action. So they secreted in one part, and they are going to act in the another part, so like that. So they help in the growth development of the plant or the animals. Okay, so in plants, so there are certain hormones are released. So the hormones in plants, that is mainly auxin, that is called as the auxin. So which is synthesized at the shoot tip, helps the cell to grow longer. So that is synthesized at the shoot tip. So this is the shoot tip. It is synthesized in the shoot tip, helps the cells to grow longer. So when it is released, when it receives the sunlight from one side, oxygen diffuses towards the shady side of the shoot. Here, the auxins synthesize, which receives the sunlight and which is produced here. After that, which moves towards the shady part of this shoot tip. Okay. Then, so this auxin that helps the cells to grow longer. So the auxins, the cells here grow longer like this. Okay, so this concentration of auxins stimulates the cell to grow longer on the side of the shoot, which is away from light. Thus, the plant appears bent towards the light. So, it appears like this, bent towards the light. Okay, so this is how the plant appears when it synthesizes the auxin. So what is the function of auxin? That is very, very important question. What is the function of the auxin? Then the second important hormone, so that helps in the control and coordination in plant, that is the gibberellin. Yes, what is the function of this gibberellin? So here the hormones like gibberellins, which is like auxins, help in the growth of the stem. So that is also helpful for the growth of the stem. Okay. Then the cytokinins promote the cell division, and it is natural then that they are present in the greater concentration in areas of rapid cell division such as in fruits and the seeds. So what is the function of cytokinins? The question will be like this. Write the functions of the following hormone. Auxins, they'll give auxin and gibberellins, and the cytokinin. Here, the cytokinins promote the cell division, and it is natural then that they are present in the greater concentration in areas rapid cell division such as fruits and the seeds. Where they are present, mainly they are present where the rapid cell division occurs. So that is fruits and the seeds. Abscisic acid is one example for the hormone which inhibit the growth. So here gibberellin, auxin and the cytokinin which promote the growth. Okay, which promote the growth of the organism, but the abscisic acid which inhibit the growth of the organism means it is produced when the plant is in a stressful condition. So when the plant is in stress, like it is not able to, for example, when the nutrients are very less or the water availability is less, in that time only it is released. Okay, so which inhibit the growth by the plants, which is able when it is growing means it is using more nutrients and all, so nutrients are not available, which affect the plant, so it is not helps for the growing. It inhibits the growth and prevents the uh, plant from its death. Okay, its effects include the wilting of the leaves. What is the effect of this? So it includes the wilting of the leaves. So this is about the hormones in plants which included which helps for the control and coordination. Then how the control and coordination that takes place in plants? So in first case, some response to the stimulus, response to the stimulus, respond to the stimulus. So that occurs due to the chemical coordination, means chemicals are released and which helps the plant cells to release the water from the cell. Then second one, so the response to the stimulus like light, touch and gravity, water, water, etc. and chemicals. Okay, so for this, how the plant that is going to react with this? So these all are the stimulus and how the plant is going to react to this stimulus. And third one, So the control and coordination that also takes place by releasing the hormones. Okay, hormones that takes the important part in plant growth and development. And the three types of the hormone: auxins, gibberellins mainly, so that is cytokinins which promote the growth, and one more, that is the abscisic acid which inhibit the growth. Which inhibit the growth. So this is how the control and coordination that takes place in the plants. Okay, next we are going to study about the hormones in animals. So hormones are the chemical substances that act like messenger molecules in the body. So they synthesized in one part of the body and they transport through the blood, and they cause the action in the different parts of our body. Okay, so after being made one part of the body, they travel to other parts of the body where they help control how cells and organs do their work. After being made one part of the body, they travel to other parts. So they are going to travel to other parts and parts of the body where they help control how cells and organs do their work. Means they are synthesized in one part and move to the, they function in the other part of the body. So that is the hormones in the human body. So this is the male body where the different types of the um, glands are situated. You know that the hormone synthesized by the specialized glands, right? So here the glands are pineal gland, pituitary gland, hypothalamus, parathyroid gland, thymus, and the thyroid gland. And here pancreas and the adrenal gland, testis in case of male. Okay, so these all are the different glands which secrete the hormones and which create the different, which perform the different functions in our body. And in case of female we find the, in case of female we find hypothalamus, pineal gland, pituitary gland. So the same as in male, and parathyroid and the thymus gland and the thyroid gland. Okay. So pancreas and the adrenal, that is also same, which is present in the male, and female contain the ovary. Okay. So ovaries that is present in the female. So this is how the different glands are present in our body and which secretes the hormone. So which are all the hormones secreted by these by these glands? And so this is how the different glands are present in our body and which secretes the hormone. Okay, sorry for the inconvenience. And here let us study about the, start with the adrenaline. So, adrenaline is secreted directly into the blood and carried to the different parts of the body. Then, the target organs or the specific tissues on which it acts include the heart. Mainly, the target organ, that is the heart. As a result, the heart beats faster, resulting in supply of more oxygen to the muscles. So, when the adrenal hormone is secreted in our body which act on the heart, so the heart beats faster. When the heart beats faster means which supply the more oxygen to the muscles. So the blood to the digestive system, skin is reduced to the contraction of the muscles around the small arteries in these organs. This diverts the blood to our skeletal muscles. So these all blood that is moving to the cells, they do not receive the blood, all the blood that will go to the skeletal muscles, because this adrenaline hormone that prepare our body to face the situation, either we have to run or fight or anything, we need more energy, so that for that it is preparing our body. Okay, the breathing rate also increases because of the contraction of the diaphragm and the rib muscles. All these responses together enable the animal body to be ready to deal with the situation. So now the animal body that is ready to receive the some situation, that is ready to face the situation, because its muscles gets more oxygen to the cells, the more energy is released in that part, and ready to face the situation. Okay, so that is secret, this adrenaline hormone that is secreted by the adrenal gland. So here the adrenal glands that are present just above the kidney. Okay. Yes. So the question will be like this: explain the function of the adrenaline gland. Okay. So what is the effect on our body? So what is the effect of adrenaline on our body? So how the adrenaline changes the heartbeat and the breathing, and how the heart is going to supply the more oxygen to the cells. So that you have to explain. Second one, that is the thyroxine hormone. So this thyroxine hormone that is secreted by the thyroid glands. Thyroxine hormone, thyroid gland, and thyroxine regulates the carbohydrate, protein and the fat metabolism, which included in the carbohydrate, fat and the protein metabolism in the body. So it provides the best balance for the growth. Iodine is essential for the synthesis of the thyroxine. So iodine, thyroid gland that secretes the thyroxine, but thyroid gland should secrete the thyroxine means it need the iodine. Okay, so the thyroid gland is able to function only when it gets the iodine. In case iodine is deficient in our diet, there is a possibility that we might suffer from goiter. So one of the symptoms is disease is swollen neck. Here you can see the goiter disease. So when the thyroxine hormone is not, when the iodine is not present in our food, in our body, thyroxine hormone is not able to release, which cause the disease that is called as the goiter. So what is the symptom of this goiter? So this disease, the symptom that is the swollen neck. Here you can see the disease. So here thyroid gland, it is able to secrete the thyroxine hormone. Thyroid gland that secrete the thyroxine hormone. So which, what is the function of this thyroxine hormone? So that is carbohydrate, protein and the fat metabolism. Okay, so this thyroid gland that is able to synthesize the thyroxine only in the presence of the iodine. The deficiency of iodine, so deficiency leads to the goiter disease. Okay, then pituitary hormone. So it is called as the growth hormone. So this is secreted by the pituitary. The growth hormone is very important hormone which maintains the growth of our body, that is called as the pituitary hormone. As its name indicates, growth hormone regulates the growth and development of the body. So if there is a deficiency of hormone during the childhood, it leads to the dwarfism, not able to grow properly. The body that will become dwarf. So that is in case of the pituitary hormone that is not released by the pituitary gland. Growth hormone is one of the hormones secreted by the pituitary, okay, pituitary gland that releases the pituitary hormone. What is the function of this pituitary hormone? The function of the pituitary hormone that is responsible for the growth of the body. If it secretes more than the required, that forms the gigantism, means the rapid growth of the body. Gigantism, okay. Next one, the hormones released by the testes and ovary, okay. So testes that is present in the male and ovary that is present in the female. So testes are responsible to produce the testosterone and estrogen that is responsible for the production, sorry, female ovaries that produces the estrogen. So this testosterone that is responsible for the secondary sexual characters in males, for production of sperm. It also includes the production of sperm and secondary sexual character like changing of voice, growth of hairs on face. So these all characters that is because of this testosterone. And what is the function of ovary, which releases the estrogen? So the menstrual cycle and the growth of the breast and the secondary sexual character that develop in the females, that is because of this estrogen hormone. Then insulin. So I hope you heard about the disease diabetes mellitus or sugar like this, right? So what is this deficiency or what is this disease? Actually, this insulin is a hormone which is produced by the pancreas. Sorry. The insulin is a hormone, mainly it is produced by the pancreas and helps in the regulating the blood sugar level. Okay. So if it is not secreted, then so the sugar level in the blood that increases, that may cause the harmful effects. So it causes the disease that is called as the, when the insulin is not present in our body, it is not secreted by the pancreas, then so the blood sugar level increases, that condition is called as the diabetes. Then what is the solution for this? So the insulin injections are taken directly to control the blood sugar level, and some tablets are taken, so that helps to release the insulin from the pancreas. So this is how the insulin is very important in our body. So these all are the some hormones and the functions in our body. Okay, so what are all the different hormones in our body that is released and what is the function? So here adrenaline that is released by the adrenal gland. Adrenaline that is released by the adrenal gland, so which prepares the, what is the function? which prepare the body to face the situation. Then the second one, the thyroid gland, which produces the thyroxine and the thyroxine hormone that is responsible for, shortly I'll write, carbohydrate, protein and fat metabolism. And if the iodine is deficiency is there, then it causes the goiter disease. Okay. Then the third one, testis, which releases the testosterone hormone. Testosterone, which is responsible for the production of sperms and also secondary sexual characters in males. Then ovary that secretes the estrogen, and that is responsible for the menstrual cycle and the secondary sexual character in females. And the last one, insulin, that is secreted by the pancreas. What is the function of insulin? That is the maintenance of the blood sugar level. Okay, so the 3-4 mark question will come from this topic. Just they'll give the situation, or um, they'll give the some glands. You have to write the which hormone is released and what is the function of that hormone. So you have to study these all points. Just make one table and study it properly. Okay, so this is about the hormones in animals. So before that we studied about the hormones in the plants. So the first one, auxins. What is the function of the auxin? So very important, so I'm repeating this topic. Auxins that are secreted in the tip of the shoots, and when it is synthesized and which is moved to the, when it receives the sunlight, and which the auxin synthesized that moves to the other part, which helps to the growth of the cell. So the cell grow longer. And gibberellins also helps for the growth of the plant, growth of the stem, elongation of the stem. Then cytokinins, mainly the cytokinins that also help for the growth, mainly they are present in the actively cell dividing region like seeds and fruits. Then the last one, abscisic acid. So that is uh, which inhibit the growth. That is the main thing, which inhibit the growth of the plant. Okay, so that is the correct answer. So before that, we studied about the hormones in plants, and the very important thing, so that is about the some responses in plant to the stimulus. So phototrophism, so and the geotrophic, phototrophic movement, and the phototropism, geotrophism, thigmotrophism, chemotrophism. So this topic is very important because they'll ask the question from this topic. So which one is positively geotrophic, which one is positively phototrophic, negatively geotrophic? So these all points you should know. If it is growing towards the light, stem growing towards the light, that is positively phototrophic. And the roots, they're growing away from the light, then it is called as negatively phototrophic. The roots, they are growing towards the soil, towards the gravity, means that is positively geotrophic. Shoot that is growing away from the gravity, that is the negatively geotrophic. Okay, so these all points that you should remember. And about the thigmotrophism means that is for the touch, how the plants are going to respond to the touch. Okay, so these plants are touch sensitive, so that is the very important. The question will come from this topic also. Okay, so these all are the some important points that we studied in this topic. If you have any doubts, you can ask. Okay, so this completes the chapter, that is control and coordination. That is the second chapter in biology. Okay, so in the first semester, so life processes is the first chapter, and the this uh, control and coordination, that is the second chapter. If you have any doubts, you can ask. So after that, I'll end this session. We'll continue in the next class. Okay. Yes. Yes. Thank you, dear students. We'll continue in the next class.